Hello. So today I want to talk about a few certain things before Mod 16 releases for everybody, console, PC, Xbox players, anyone who's interested in what to prep for before Mod 16 releases. Well, PC players, you guys really can't prep anymore. You guys get Mod 16 on the 23rd, which is this Tuesday upcoming. Um, so for the other lucky few who still play Neverwinter and love playing it, the first thing you want to do is basically stack up on all of your refinement points. You want to rank up your bondings first. That's literally it, nothing else. Just your bondings. Everything else should not be ranked up. Your enchantments are basically useless in the mod 16. They give you very minimal stats. At rank 15, they give you around like 19 something. Not really a lot, basically. Majority of your gear will give you majority of stats. Companions will literally give you majority of stats, and your bondings and will give you majority of your item level. Enchantments that you put on yourself do not give you a majority item level. So say a rank 15 would give you around 300, and then a bonding at rank 15 would give you 600 item level. After ranking up your bondings first, which is your main priority, that's what you first should do when mod 16 drops. Get to level 80, obviously. After that, make sure you're set on what you want to do first before you run anything. Because keep this in mind, when mod 16 drops and you hit level 80, you will not be able to run Lair of the Mad Mage. Well, this goes for what's said on PC as of right now. Lair of the Mad Mage will not be released on the beginning of launch of mod 16. So there you have that. So get the gear that you need. Basically, you can get, once you hit level 80, you can have Seal of the Crown, which you basically now get from doing your daily routine, like your advanced Q, your intermediate Q, and your leveling Q. I don't know what extra Q drops. It probably drops the new, new seals, even if they have an extra Q, to be honest, because since they're getting, all the dungeons now are going to be level capped to 70, and you'll be dumbed down. Your stats will be dumbed down, and I'm getting way off track here. So once you hit level 80, you want to basically define where you want to go in your character. A lot of classes now have new choices, basically. Well, not new choices, sorry. Somebody's gonna hate me for that. You basically have two choices. Most of the classes. Then there are the few classes that are literally forced to be strictly DPS, so your stats will be perfectly fine, whether you switch back and forth. So yeah, that's really it. Get your stats corrected out. See what you want to be. Tanks. See if you want to be paladin tank. Sorry. See if you want to be a healer or do you want to tank. DCs. Make up your mind now. Once you hit 80, do you want to DPS or do you want to heal? Keep in mind now that once mod 16 drops, a group fluidness will completely change. There's no more of this annoying group thing basically that you have now on PS4 and on any platform, where everybody's running a 3 different buffers or whatever, maybe 2 buffers, 1 tank, 2 DPSs. I know a lot of people try to contradict it and say oh, you don't have 3 buffers, but if you have one class that's power sharing, you're basically buffing. If you're nerfing an enemy's damage resistance or damage or buffing your teammates' damage, you're buffing. Okay, whether you're a tank or not, you're still buffing. You have tactician guardian fighters that can basically tank and buff at the same time with Into the Fray. What else are we talking about? Knight's Valor giving you damage resistance, basically. Command and Strike giving you bonus encounter damage on your next encounter. You know, all sorts of crap. Templock Pillar Power gives you a damage buff, or a damage reduction towards the enemy, and a their damage resistance lowered, which basically is a buff. There's a whole lot of shenanigans going on. You know, HRs have Long Strider Shot, which gives you a damage buff. You know, all this stuff that still concurs. And now that that's getting rid of, everything is going to be useful again. The old way, to me, it's basically the OG way of Neverwinter when it first released, where you had 3 DPSs, 1 tank, and 1 healer. That used to be phenomenal. So now every DPS class will be viable. I know as of right now, a lot of the scaling on mod 16 is kind of fucked. That's one thing I see a lot of people complain about, and one thing that I've seen myself, where a Trickster Rogue would do Lair of the Mad Mage and do Shocking Execution to the first boss, and would do about 40% of its health instantly. That's fucked. What? You know, that surprised me, but it was very hysterical, because, yeah, you shouldn't do that, period. I mean, I get it now. Everything's based off of magnitude, and dailies are overpowered because it's a daily and they take forever to get. Cool beans. But that just basically ruins the whole concept of the dungeon is an end-game dungeon. Now, my next topic is what item level you should get to once mod 16 releases. Once you hit level 80 and you start getting your gear, most of the gear you can get from expeditions, and then after that you can get your seal gear, which will boost you up a bit. What you want to focus on is getting up to around 20,000 item level. It's pretty easy. It's basically not that hard to get to 20,000 item level. It won't take you that long whatsoever. Enchantment wise, it's all up to you. Whatever you guys do, please do not trade your enchantments at the enchantment exchange vendor that's going to be released in mod 16 by the claims agent and Protector's Enclave. It is the dumbest choice you can ever make, and you are probably a dummy. After that, once you hit 20k item level, you want to min-max your stats for everything. So it's 45k to around 55k per stat, and then power, you can always stack on power. There's really no stopping at power. You know, having more power is more damage basically. So once you min-max all your stats that you need maxed out, depending on what you are, you focus on power. As a tank, you're probably focused on your defensive abilities, like your combat advantage resistance, whatever that thing is called. Stuff that matters the most, basically. As a healer, I think power still plays a role as healing, so the more power you have, the stronger your heals will be. Remember, having over 55,000 crit on mod 16 does not matter, because you're literally stuck at 50% crit no matter how much crit you have. There's no diminishing returns. Once you hit 50% crit, you're done. You can't go any higher, any lower. You're at 50% crit. But then keep in mind, a lot of the mobs have crit resist, so you'll still have to overcome their crit resist. So if they have 10k crit resist, you'll probably have to have 60k crit, 10k and 1, so 10,001 to resist, to ignore their crit resist, and then after that have 50% crit, which is the extra 50,000, because in mod 16 the percentage is 1,000 to 1, so 1,000 of that stat will equal to 1%. Next is mounts. Most mounts in mod 16 have not been changed stat wise. You know what they drop, what they give you, sorry. But insignias can now be ranked up to legendary. So I don't know how that works, but I think you need one epic or 2 epics, 4 rares, and then 10 greens, something like that. I could be very drastically wrong. Don't know. But the new stats, the new insignias are doubled in stats basically. So if a regal insignia gives you 200 power, it's now going to be 400 power and a 200 companion influence. So I think that's how it works now. I could be totally wrong, which I'm probably not. Majority of the time I'm not. So yeah, every class is going to be played differently, and that's all I had to say. Nothing really difficult. Just get your gear, basically. Majority of this video was a waste of time talking about everything else. All you literally need is new gear, new rings, new artifacts, new companions. You know, companions give a whole bunch of different stats now. This little few item level I'm getting right now is nothing compared to what you get in companions. Companions and your gear will give you majority of your stats. Enchantments are literally fucking useless in mod 16. Campaigns are all gonna be fucking gone, so don't even worry about that. They're all gonna be turned into one simple tree. Your attribute points, strength gives you physical damage, and I forgot what else occurs. Everything is now universal, so strength is always gonna be physical damage. I think intelligence is magical damage, and then there is supposed to be a projectile damage, which ranged damage basically, which I don't think that's implemented still. So if you're a projectile character like a hunter ranger, I'd still prefer you to go strength, because most of your damage isn't magical, it's physical. So yeah, Scourge Warlocks, DCs, go for the one that gives you magical damage. That's obviously a simple fact, because Hellish Rebuke, which is probably the main at-will area Scourge Warlock uses, or now it's going to be different in mod 16, so I don't know what y'all be using. But make sure y'all are going with projectile damage. And yeah, that's it, and peace.